Now I'm going to talk about what I call the project and file group pyramid. And this might get a little intense, but just understand that you don't necessarily have to use projects and file groups this way. But I want to make sure that you understand how they work and how they contain all of the elements of the project that you're working on. So let's talk about the pyramid, starting with the foundation. At the bottom of the pyramid, you're going to find the three basic elements that I've already talked about, which include audio files, audio montages, and batch processors. But you might also be working with the other elements like basic audio CDs, DVD audio projects, podcasts, and scripts. So all of those different elements are always contained within the second layer of the pyramid, which is a file group. So file groups can contain multiple elements. And then finally, at the top of the pyramid, we have projects. A project can contain one file group. In fact, it has to contain at least one file group, but it can contain multiple file groups. And in each of those file groups, you can have any number of other elements like audio files, montages, and batch processors. So let's see how this pyramid is organized inside of Wavelab. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the program. And when I see the startup window, what I'm going to do is choose to create an empty project. So every time you're working in Wavelab, you're actually working inside of a project. Now, you might never save a project. You may only be saving the files or other elements that are inside of a file group, which are inside of a project. But just so that you understand some of the advantages in working with projects, let's go ahead and create an empty new one. So when I click on OK, the first thing I'm going to see is actually a project with one file group that it's already created for us. So let's add one element to this first file group. So let's just go ahead and create a new audio file. Since we don't have anything loaded in this window, I can click on the Create Empty button right here, and that will open the File tab. So in other words, if you wanted to create it a different way, you could click on File right over here, select New, and then go to Audio File. I'm going to create a custom 32-bit stereo 44.1 kilohertz sample frequency audio file. So I'm going to go ahead and click Create, and you'll notice that we have that first audio file. It's an empty audio file, and it has been loaded as part of the first file group. So at this point, if all you ever do is load, edit, and save audio files, you never really have to worry about file groups and projects. The advantage in using file groups and projects is that they can link together all of the different elements inside of one file group or multiple file groups within one project. So to show you the potential of that, what I'm going to do is load in some other elements. So I'm going to right or control click in this strip, and I'm going to go to Recent Audio Montages, and I've just made a few examples to start with. So here's an empty audio montage, and then I'm going to load in an empty batch processor. So you see, these all have names because they've been saved onto my computer, and I've just given them the names of what elements they are. But pay attention to the icons that are on each tab. So the audio file icon is on the audio file tab right here. The montage icon is here, and the batch processor icon is here. So that is my first file group, and I have one of those elements loaded into each one. But then, before I can close the project, if I wanted these components to stay in this file group, I would need to save them. So I'm going to select this tab, then go under the File menu and choose Save As, and it's the current file, so there is the audio file icon, and I've already created a project folder called Pyramid, and this is just where I'm going to save all of the elements for this particular project. So I'm going to open the Pyramid folder, then I'm going to give that audio file a name, like Audio File. And now you can see that that tab has the name of the element that I just saved. And then let's say the name of this file group. So I'm going to right or control click on the file group itself and choose rename, and let's just call this music, just to differentiate it from the next file group I'm going to make. And to do that, I could either go under the File menu, choose New, and then File Group, or there's another quick way to do it. You could hit this little plus button, and that will create an empty new file group. And let's just call this Voiceovers, just so that it's something different. And then let's go ahead and load in one of those other 4 components that we could have as part of our new file group. So let's load in this basic audio CD. Let's also load in a DVD audio project and a podcast and a script. So now in my project, I have 2 file groups. And in each file group, I have 3 or 4 different elements of different types of modes that you can be editing inside of Wavelab.